Greetings everyone, I'm Stefan and today we'll be salvaging an empire. In the previous video, we have rebelled against our Overlord, and unfortunately the price of that was many billions of lives and extreme financial damage. As you can see here, our economy isn't doing that hot and we have 17 pops to our name. In today's video, which is sponsored by Paradox Interactive, we'll be taking radical measures to restore this empire. Now, first thing we're going to want to do is reduce expenses. So we're going to go ahead and disband this army. We're not going to need it anymore. And since our diplomatic relations with these guys are relatively good, which can be improved even further with envoys, we're going to rely on diplomacy to make sure that we're safe instead of military power. We're going to go ahead and downgrade the one corvette that we do have. Make sure we get as many resources as possible by scrapping it down for alloys. And then we're going to excavate our dig site right here, which is Asteroid Blast Door. And this one can potentially give us up to 150 minor artifacts, which we can sell for 500 entry credits each. So potentially we can get very, very rich off this thing, but we do got to make sure to excavate it. Otherwise our economy is just going to die out. We do have 2 planets that we have managed to secure during our conflict with the Overlord. However, these are uncolonized and are going to take quite a while to build up. So what I'm planning to do is to go for as much growth as possible on these 2, as well as much possible growth on our capital by removing these lithoid monoliths and making some pops out of them. We're going to have to be very meticulous about this, so let's get started. First thing that we're going to want to do on our planet is make sure our amenities situation is fixed. Now, granted, we don't have as many pops requiring amenities as before, but we still want to get a holo theater up and running so that we can be fine for the future. Our jobs are primarily dedicated to soldiers. Let's remove that. Make sure our pops are a little bit more useful. We're going to make sure to unemploy the enforcer before the holo theater gets built so that they can go ahead and work that job instead of the enforcer, which doesn't really give us much. And we're going to focus heavily on science from that point onwards. Currently, we are suffering a severe unity shortage, but that should be alleviated by the time devastation goes down enough so that our bureaucrats can actually do their job. Space-wise, we're going to be building up star bases, but not because we need the defenses, but because we need the hydroponics bays. Even though we are lithoids, hydroponics bays are going to come in handy with producing resources that we can then sell in the market and buy other resources with. Alright, we got our holo theater up and running. I've unemployed the enforcer and now he works in a more superior job. Yeah, and for the time being, we're going to really need a reduction of crime. What we are going to need, though, is an increase in science, so let's go ahead and start working on that as well. These holo theaters are going to help us out with unity as well, and so hopefully we'll be able to progress through our traditions very quickly. I'm thinking that we're going to go for prosperity, because prosperity is going to give us extra economic might, but going expansion at this point also wouldn't be that bad of an idea, especially for that colony development and growth speed. Since we are masterful crafters, I am going to go for an extra industrial district on this planet. That way we're going to get an extra building slot, because with masterful crafters, every 3 industrial districts mean 1 building slot, and this is definitely going to help us out more than a city district. Let's take a look. More tech, more unity. Let's go for extra pop growth speed, and let's go for mineral subsidies. I'm not sure we'll be able to afford the unity cost of doing subsidies, but we are going to need to get a production up ASAP. Alright, new tradition. I am very tempted to finish up expansion, but it is not going to give us enough benefits. So instead, we're going to go for prosperity. This way, we're going to be able to get more bonuses, and as you can see here, the finisher for prosperity is amazing. Plus 5% resources from all jobs and plus 5 stability. So we'll try to rush that down ASAP. And that is the reason why we're still keeping up the administrative offices, because even though Tech Rush is good, we still want to get a bunch of benefits from Unity as well. Currently, our only holdup in economy is this dig site, which hopefully will be resolved right now. So let's take a look. 50 minor artifacts from Asteroid Blast Door. Very, very nice. They're going to supercharge our economy, and we're going to need to keep track of them. Every 6 months we can sell them, so let's just keep an eye on the clock and make sure we take advantage of that as quickly as possible. Galactic Community, let's go ahead and join that. The Galactic Community is probably not going to help us much, at least until we get the market. Once that happens, usually AI likes to buy alloys for a very high price, so we'll be able to sell our stock and hopefully get some benefits from that. Alright, our first colony is getting up. It is year 19, which is somewhat concerning, but our economy is going back up. And when we super boost it with private collector sales, we're going to be doing relatively well in the near future. Alright, we have discovered some alien in Scod. Let's take a look at that. This empire wants a non-aggression pact with us, which, while it is going to cost influence, is going to be overall fine. And we have an election, which we definitely cannot afford, so let's abstain. And let's take a look at who we have elected. Resilient Space Miner Skill Development. The main problem is that it took away from our engineer, so that is somewhat unfortunate. In the meantime, we're going to want to start clearing these slums and monoliths and get some pops out of it. Fortunately, our previous ruler, Mr. Chad here, was an environmental engineer back in the day, so we'll be able to use him to our advantage. So let's go ahead and start clearing. Alright, our first colony is up and running. It's only year 2021, but that's okay. Now, fun fact about these colonists is that they're not entirely efficient and not entirely productive. So what we're going to do instead of having these guys around is build a science lab and reassign them to do that. Nowadays, you actually can build science labs without having a planetary administration, and considering how we're already getting a bunch of amenities from the planet being a colony, we can go ahead and do that without any sort of issues. Now that we've researched the extra edicts tech, we can potentially afford a capacity subsidies or mining subsidies without paying a very high price, but since we don't actually have a lot of workers in any of these positions, we're going to actually hold off on that. And that thing I said about the research lab, well, that might not be as feasible as I thought, so let's actually go ahead and build a civilian industry on this planet instead. We will be getting some research because we are masterful crafters, but it's not enough to make a difference. And we just need the consumer goods to not suffer the economic consequences. Alright, we just got another tech for edict cap. Let's go ahead and activate mining subsidies, and it is going to be completely free because we have plenty of edicts fund. Awesome. Alright, it is year 30. We're sitting at 460 tech per month. Not a very high number, but we are able to sustain it, and as long as we can get to 1k before 50, we should be able to build up and be militarily aggressive reasonably soon. Also, as far as our energy credits go, we're actually doing fine because if we can sell a minor artifact every 6 months, we're making essentially 80 energy credits per month. We'll be able to keep that up for 15 more years. After that, we're going to be on our own. Alright, robots. I was expecting them a bit earlier, but I guess this is fine. We're still going to be able to make use of them, so let's build up some city districts. And once we get robots, we'll be able to spam them everywhere. Oh no, we're getting claimed? Really? Alright, that is unfortunate. They are equivalent to us in tech, they are superior in economy, and unlike us, they actually have a fleet. So that is a bit of an issue. Ooh, Silent Shout. We could potentially get another pop out of this. Ice Alien. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. Pottered Society is going to take 5 months. And I believe that should produce a pop. and more pops are gooder, so that is good for us. Yep, 4 Azizian pops right here from an anomaly. Awesome. We're gonna have to start selling a little bit less food since we now have pops that actually use food upkeep, but yeah, look at that. More population. I guess for now they'll be clerks, and that actually really helps us with upgrading this colony to a planetary administration as quickly as possible. Now we've just unlocked our prosperity tree, which means we have an essential perk, which means that we can go ahead and get, let's see, we can get executive vigor, so that we can do more edicts. Or we can get technological ascendancy to get more research speed. We are somewhat struggling on the economy front, and the relics won't last forever. I'm tempted to go for executive vigor. It's actually a really good essential perk, despite what it might look like with just plus 100 edicts fund. Yeah, let's actually go for that. All right, cruisers unlocked. Let's go for a little bit more tech, and I think with Strikecraft we'll be able to start doing stuff. All right, hello there, Zero Corp. You're completely useless, so don't even talk to me. Nope, what just happened? Looks like there's been... Holy moly. Look at that. These guys just fell apart. Wow. Okay. Okay, they're in a full-on civil war with each other. That's insane. I wonder if we can get in on this. These guys are at war, and they have a relatively small fleet. I don't know if they're going to be getting any as a result of an event, but I am tempted to start building up. If we could potentially get a few more cruisers, we can conquer these guys piecemeal. It's amazing. Let's just go for hangar plus UV laser cruisers. The reason why we're going for UV lasers instead of X-ray is because these guys take crystals, and we don't actually have crystals, and we have no access to the galactic market, so yeah, that is unfortunate. Let's put on some shields. This is the best we got, so let's go ahead and save the ship design. We won't be able to pump out a whole lot of these ships, but we should be able to pump out enough. Alright, declare war, conquer claim. Let's do this. We've got to make sure to do this before, you know, the Civil War actually resolves itself as a civil war. So let's get in battle as soon as we can. We are going to be winning this. Let's just make sure our army is in position as well. And let's go ahead and claim Scott as well. Looks like the actual enemy force was about to go in. Nice. We've just snatched the enemy's vassal away from them. Or have we? Let's make sure we actually take this this starbase first. Aw, come on. Alright, well, whatever. We do a little bit of opportunism. And yeah, look at that. 16 pops on this one planet. That is a nice boost to our empire. Let's go ahead and put them to work. And actually make sure that these guys aren't just slaves, but actually somewhat productive. We could even go as far as giving them resident status, which I think we'll do. Because otherwise we're going to have serious issues on this planet. Actually, yeah, even without the slave uprising, we are having some serious economic struggles. So let's go ahead and employ some clerks, because we have to. Let's actually build a little bit of mining on this planet instead. And I guess we'll have to wait until stuff gets built on this planet. I'll go for a mining district for work, and Yeah, I guess we'll just go for mining districts, actually. I was going to go for extra housing, but since mining districts also give housing, we might as well just spam these a bunch. In the meantime, let's go for ally mega forges. We do know that these guys are going to be quite strong. They're not as strong as they were before. Note the superior instead of overwhelming. But that... we have to make sure to actually push our advantage. We're going to need to get some more ally production as quickly as possible. Right now, I'm still going to want to focus mostly on science. Hey, you know what? Ally production, right. We could probably get this done on this planet. Birth of the Galactic Market, very nice. I don't know if I'll go for it, though. It's better to have the resources in our hands than gamble. Speaking of gambling, actually, these salvagers do offer cruisers for sale. So let's actually go ahead and start buying up cruisers. We will be able to refit them into our own nice designs, but for now, buying them at 350 energy up pop seems like a great idea. Let's see, we're able to do that every, like, 3 months? Okay, that's wonderful. Let's do that and build up our military. Alright, at this point, it looks like the non-aggression pact was broken. So we're going to be able to start building up to take these guys out. Their vassals shouldn't be all that powerful, and we do know they have about 11k worth of fleet power. They might have multiple fleets of 11k fleet power, which will be a problem, but at our current rate, we should be able to buy our way to the top. All in all, we're doing quite well for having been completely bombarded and at 17 pops 13 years into the game. Yeah, let's just keep buying cruisers. I think it's actually more efficient to buy cruisers than building them ourselves. It is not as time efficient. Like, you can't just pump out a bunch of cruisers out of the scrappers. But since we do have time to build up, we might as well build up. At this point, our former overlords are only superior to us in science and equivalent to us in economy. They've actually stopped guaranteeing this empire right here. Huh. And they're fighting a 3-enemy war. Now, we're not stronger than them, so we can't just make them a subject, but we're very rapidly building up our military. Alright, we have gathered 13.3k fleet, which isn't a whole lot, and it's not enough to make these guys a subject of ours, because they're still, I guess, superior to us. They have lower diplomatic weight, but they must have a slightly stronger navy. What we can do, I guess, is just go to war and weaken them a little bit. We have plenty of influence, and I would like to get some territory under my belt. Let's go ahead, conquer, claim. With neutron launchers and strike craft, stations are going to be extremely easy to dispatch. In the meantime, we'll keep buying up ships and building up new ones. We have conquered the planet. The war is still fresh, and we haven't claimed a lot of space, so let's just keep going, claim all the systems, and settle status quo. Or win, who knows? We should be capable enough to meet them in naval combat. In the meantime, it looks like these guys actually went to equivalent compared to us. Nice. You know what? I'm gonna wait until we can get a little bit more navy up and running, and then we'll subjugate our former oppressor. How about that? You know, these guys, you know, they could be a good subject. We can farm them for resources, but these, we have a grudge against. They were once our overlords. Let's turn the tables on them. Don't run away from me. Don't run away. Come on. Yeah, nice. Carriers have very good engagement range. And now we can go ahead and take the system. See, these guys almost accept the status quo. Let's claim these. Oh, they have their fleet over here. Guess we'll redeploy. Maybe do a little bit of exotic gaseous fuel to go faster. It looks like they are moving over here, which means that we want to intercept them. Yeah, the swarm of fighters deals with small vessels. Neutron launchers absolutely destroy anything else. Let's go ahead and catch these guys while also claiming these systems. And we should be able to come out of this war very much victorious, even with an achieved war goals instead of a status quo, which would be wonderful. Should we maybe claim Trappist? That's 3 planets here. They've only colonized 1. That one has 31 pops. You know what? Claim. There we go. They have surrendered. We have Trappist. We have this planet. So that's going to be plus 80 pops. It is going to ruin us economically, which is a bit of an issue. But it will put us in a position to go ahead and start declaring subjugation wars. Once we deal with the economy situation, of course. First, let's make sure that these guys that we've just conquered aren't all chattel slaves. In fact, I will set them to residency, because it's going to be incredibly difficult to figure them out otherwise. It is going to hit us consumer economy-wise, but that's pretty alright. Oof, faction founded, rising unemployment. Yeah, we're hit with a variety of issues, but we should be able to deal with that. Ooh, we can see what sort of fleet these guys have, and it's actually somewhat substantial. Wow, so that's 24,000 fleet power? Let's just say we did a little bit of military buildup. We're sitting at a comfortable 40k fleet power, so let's go ahead and use it. Now, unfortunately, we're still not strong enough to straight up vassalize them, so what we'll do instead is release them as a sector afterwards. That way, they'll also adopt our ideologies. Okay, let's first harm relations. That way we can declare them a rival. That way we can go ahead and claim stuff cheaper. And now let's go ahead and declare war. We're going to be in a war with their defensive ally somewhere over here, but it should be all right. As long as we're able to defeat them in detail, and that means take them out 1 fleet at a time, we should be fine. Apparently these guys do have a substantial fleet. Come on, all we need to do is attack them before they can regroup. They seem to be somewhat split up, and they're actually running away. Yeah, as long as we can catch them 1 fleet at a time, it's going to be perfect. AI likes to group up these days, and what you got to do is just be fast about it. Yeah, they're just coming at us 1 at a time. This is perfect. This is why I positioned my fleets right at the border, so that when the war happened, we could just strike immediately. And indeed, they're caught in absolute disarray. We're taking losses, but that is to be expected. In fact, it might be good for us, considering how we're now below naval capacity. Which means we're not paying egregious amounts of resources. As long as we can regroup and repair, we'll be completely fine. Actually, let's make sure they can't regroup and repair. Let's just keep advancing. We should have probably spent some time repairing because our fleets are looking kind of weak. Oh, it's probably because of the pulsar. Never mind. You know, having a big pulsar in the system, destroying all the shields, probably does damage to fleets with only shields. So that's fine. Let's just keep advancing. We will be struck from behind. Actually, yeah, that's more of an issue. Let's go ahead and deal with that. One of their fleets just decided to attack. Okay. That did absolutely nothing. And another fleet. Okay, good thing we took the system, because otherwise these guys would have been sitting at our border. Nice. Alright, let's claim the planet. Okay, we can do that pretty easily. And let's go back. Yeah, the enemy is starting to retake the system, which is a problem. I don't want to fight in the system because of the pulsar. Let's see. These guys are somewhat separated, but I don't think they're separated enough for me to risk invasion. I think we're gonna build up a little bit and then do anything. Alright, they jumped, and they're here. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, that gives us an opening. We can take the Great Game, finish Supremacy, get our Supremacist stance, and for War Doctrine, we can, I don't know, probably get hit and run, so we disengage more. Yeah, with this fleet separated, we should be able to just come in and kill them piecemeal. It's amazing. Let's make sure our fleets stick together. Let's see, their fleet is right here in a pileup. If we can avoid it... Oh! I guess one of their fleets did an FTL thing. So we jumped on top of it. That's fine. If we can avoid engaging the station while engaging the fleet, that'd be wonderful. Taking losses. Not good. Let's see, they jumped back here. Fortunately, we were able to deal with them. That's perfect. So now let's engage the station and conclude this war. Settle status quo. Let's win the war. Now, unfortunately, this system is going to be wacky, so what we're going to do actually is propose that these guys subjugate themselves. How about that? We'll offer a little bit of a strategic resource subsidy, make them a protectorate. We're going to go ahead... Yeah, I don't want to match this. We're going to go ahead and turn this into a sector. Call these the Craxall's vassals, because that's exactly what they are now. And yeah, we have won. All right, now these guys are our subjects, while they have previously been our overlord. These guys seem to not accept the current terms of subjugation. That cost influence. How could they? Yeah, they're suspicious. Come on, man. I know we just conquered you, but you're suspicious? Really? Okay. We could actually declare war, because this is a new empire. Right, we have claims on this system. We do. Let's make sure to move out of it. And then we'll move in, declare war, subjugate, and restore territorial integrity. How about that? Speaking of territorial integrity, let's make sure these guys become more loyal. Let's see, do we have a holding with them? We do. So let's go ahead and make a holding. Now, holdings are a new building type that you can make in Overlord, and these give a variety of bonuses. You can check out the dev diary on them, but as far as we're concerned, we want the buildings that give extra loyalty. We can potentially get plus 1.5 monthly loyalty on this planet in exchange for some reduced happiness if we have our army stationed there. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, monthly loyalty change 2. Perfect. Now, it's not our problem that these guys are unhappy. That's all right. We don't care about that. It's just a little habitat. But it is going to make our subject way more loyal, which is awesome. And more loyal subjects mean more loyal agreements and less of a chance for them to rise up against you. All right, that should win us the war. And as far as our subject goes, I would like to renegotiate our contract. It's going to take 17 months, and we should be able to get a pretty good deal with them. Alrighty, I've just brokered a deal. We can get up to 45% of their basic resources, which is going to be quite a bit. We will subsidize their strategics, which for us isn't going to cost all that much. We don't need them to be engaged in any of our wars because we're strong enough militarily, and we will defend them if they're attacked. We're also going to want a couple holdings just so we can build those special buildings, and we're going to have United Sensors because that makes them more loyal. So let's go ahead, proceed, and yeah, hopefully they agree. Perfect. At this point, we're going to get massive quantities of resources. Our strategics are going to go down, which we will have to compensate for. But all in all, we're definitely getting a good deal here. Like compared to before, where you could only get 25% of a subject's income, we're getting 45% of their food, energy, and mineral income, which is going to really help us out. Going to allow us to develop and become the custodian or emperor or whoever we want. Because at this point, we're in a good place. But anyways, this has been the tale of the Gamer Empire. The gamers rose up against the Overlord and in a decisive war have conquered them and made them a subject. If you yourself want to play around with these new mechanics, you can go ahead and check out the link in the description. It's a link to Overlord, and I get a little bit of kickback. But anyways, this has been it for today. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.